All right. Welcome in everyone to a deep dive. I think you guys are going to love, especially if you're like me and kind of obsessed with like amazing houses and, those incredible places celebrities call home.
Yeah, and you know those design magazines you flip through? Where every detail is just perfect.
Well, yeah, for sure. Those ones, like sometimes I just think like, what would it even be like to live in a place like that?
Right,
Like a total fantasy,
exactly. Well, get ready to dive into one of those fantasy homes, but with a twist.
a tragic twist, unfortunately.
Yeah, so we're talking about that $125 million mansion in Pacific Palisades, the one owned by Austin Russell, the tech entrepreneur, remember?
Oh, yeah, the one that was lost in those awful wildfires back in 25.
Yeah, super sad. It was like a modern architectural masterpiece, straight out of the pages of Architectural Digest,
Right.
and even featured on, I think it was HBO's Succession, right?
Yeah, I think you're right. And it's just wild to think that a house that, stunning and meticulously designed could just be gone like that. Total testament to nature's power,
Right.
right? But that's exactly why we're doing this deep dive. We're going to explore every detail of this incredible property, from its design elements, its breathtaking location, Pacific
Oh,
Palisades,
of course, Pacific Palisades.
and I guess ultimately the lessons we can learn from its tragic fate.
Exactly, because look, most of us will never own a $125 million mansion.
Sadly.
But there's still so much we can learn about, design choices, building practices, just thinking about how to safeguard our own homes, whatever they're worth.
Absolutely, 100%.
Uh,
So, okay, let's paint a picture for everyone. We're talking Pacific Palisades, basically like synonym for luxury living, right?
Oh, yeah. You say Pacific Palisades, and instantly it's like ocean views, celebrity neighbors, that whole vibe, like the
Uh,
who's who of Hollywood and tech all in one place.
and while the actual address of this mansion is like top secret, gotta love that mystique,
Yeah.
it was nestled right in that exclusive enclave, offering both, well, privacy and those crazy panoramic views Pacific Palisades is known for.
Privacy and a view. What more could you ask for?
Literally nothing. Okay, now imagine this, okay? Sleek, contemporary design, minimalist yet bold, which I kind of love that contrast.
Totally.
And the exterior, get this, a perfect mix of lightwood paneling and floor-to-ceiling glass.
Oh, I love that. It gives it that like clean, open, airy feel, super modern and just so California. Yeah.
Exactly, like this is what modern architecture dreams are made of, and it totally reflects this bigger trend we're seeing, right?
Yeah.
Where luxury is less about like the traditional ornate stuff.
It's so true. It's more about clean lines, natural light, a sense of serenity, space, like especially in a city like LA that's always buzzing.
Right. You want that retreat feeling in your own home. And speaking of serenity, this mansion was like indoor-outdoor living goals. Okay. Multiple terraces extending the living spaces, creating the seamless flow inside to outside, and those Pacific Palisades views just there, like all the time.
You're making me want to book a flight to California right now.
I know, right? But seriously, think about this. Blurring the lines between indoors and out is a huge thing now with luxury homes.
It's not just about aesthetics either. There's a ton of research showing that being in nature is good for you, like actually good for your well-being. And for people who can afford these incredible homes, well-being is a top priority.
Makes sense. And those terraces, imagine, sprawling entertainment areas, little nooks for just chilling, all with those uninterrupted ocean views. It had to be like next level.
Like something out of a movie, honestly.
Okay, so we've admired the view. Now let's step inside, all right? Imagine walking on these amazing floors, a mix of like polished stone and rich wooden planks. Every step you take, it's luxurious.
I can hear the click-clack of heels echoing through those hallways already.
Right. And then, oh my gosh, custom wood paneling all over the walls and ceilings. Imagine that, even in this huge mansion, it probably felt warm and cozy.
That's the beauty of natural materials, isn't it? It brings in that warmth and authenticity, like grounding you, even in a home that's obviously super high-tech and cutting edge.
And then there's the light. Oh, the light. Floor-to-ceiling glass everywhere, framing those insane views and just like bathing the whole place in natural light.
The best kind of light. It makes everything feel bigger, more open, airier. And it's not just about looks either. Natural light can seriously boost your mood, your productivity, even how well you sleep.
No wonder designers are obsessed with it.
Mhm.
Okay, but are you ready for the showstopper?
Hit me with it.
The infinity pool. I mean, come on. Infinity pools are already the peak of luxury. But this one was next level. perfectly positioned to take advantage of the home's location up high on the hillside. It looks like the water just spilled over the edge into the valley below.
Talk about an infinity view. Seriously, I've seen some amazing pools, but that one sounds
It
unreal.
was more than just a pool, though, right? It was like this whole vibe, elegant lounge chairs, shaded cabanas, a fully equipped outdoor kitchen, like Party Central one night, Tranquil Oasis the next.
That's what I'm talking about, options. And get this, there was this dome-like seating area too. Can't you just picture it? Maybe natural wood or a woven material, perfect for those chill conversations. Stargazing, just soaking it all in.
Okay, you're making me way too jealous. It's like a modern take on an ancient form, you know?
Yeah.
Even in this super modern, luxurious home, there's that connection to something timeless and like primal.
It's like no matter how advanced we get, we still crave that connection to nature, to the universe. It's fascinating.
Totally agree. But okay, now for the hard part, the part of this story that still kind of breaks my
The
heart.
wildfires. Yeah.
They were just devastating, and unfortunately, this mansion was right in their path. Started near Malibu, fueled by those crazy winds and super dry conditions.
And they spread so quickly, right? Just rip through those residential areas.
Scary how fast it all happened. Firefighters were incredible, doing everything they could to protect homes, but, this mansion, it was especially vulnerable because of where it was. Up on that exposed hillside, surrounded by dry brush.
Yeah, location is everything, right? Especially in those high-risk areas. And it makes you think, are we doing enough to prevent this kind of thing? Like, are we building with fire-resistant materials? Are we creating that defensible space around properties?
Exactly. Like, those are the questions that this tragedy really brings to light.
Hmm.
And tragically, even with all the firefighters' efforts, the property was lost. Witnesses described the flames just engulfing the structure. It was like this terrifying cascade of heat and light.
It's hard to imagine something so beautiful and grand just being consumed like that. It really shows you just how powerful nature can be, and it makes
Yeah.
you think, like, even with all the money and all the planning in the world, some things you just can't control.
It's true. And it's like what's left. I mean, those photos of what's left of the mansion, they're just haunting. Like this charred skeleton, beams all twisted and collapsed from the heat.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to think those custom wood panels we were just talking about, now they're just ashen blackened remains.
It's a powerful image, isn't it? Like this stark reminder of just how destructive wildfires can be. And it makes you think about the people, the owners who put their heart and soul into creating this dream home.
Not to mention a fortune.
Exactly. It's not just a house they lost, it's memories, dreams, a sense of security, everything.
It's hard to imagine that kind of loss. But I keep thinking about those photos, and there's this one detail that really stuck with me. There's this modern sculpture. It somehow survived the fire. It's all covered in soot now, but it's still standing. And then the gardens, they were obviously scorched, but there are plants that are like clinging to life. What do you make of that? Like, as a design expert, what does that say to you?
It's like, even in the midst of all that destruction, there's this resilience, both in the art and in nature. They might be scarred, but they're not giving up. And I think there's a lesson in there for us, too.
I like that. Okay, so let's shift gears for a bit and think about what this all means for us, the regular folks.
Yeah.
We're probably never going to have a $125 million mansion,
Probably not.
but we still care about our homes.
Right.
We want to protect them. What are the big takeaways here? Like, when it comes to wildfire prevention, what can we actually do?
This whole thing is a wake-up call, especially for people living in those fire-prone areas. We have to be proactive.
Yeah.
And it starts with understanding that idea of defensible space, like we talked about earlier.
Right, that buffer zone around your home. So, like, no dead leaves, trim those bushes, fire-resistant plants, all that good stuff.
Exactly. Think of it as zones, right? Closest to the house, as little flammable stuff as possible. And then as you get further out, you can gradually have more vegetation, but it's all about spacing, so fire can't jump from one thing to the next.
So strategic landscaping, not just clearing everything away. Got it.
Yeah.
What about building materials? Do those matter?
Oh, huge. Especially your roof, siding, decks, those are key. Things like metal roofing, fiber cement siding, treated lumber, those can make a big difference.
Okay, good to know. And of course, insurance, right? I mean, you never think you'll need it, but then something like this happens.
And it's too late. Yeah.
It's too late.
Hmm.
So having enough coverage to rebuild, that's got to be a priority.
No question. Especially with how much construction costs are going up these days, you don't want to be caught short.
So true. But beyond these practical things, like, is there something bigger here about how we approach design and building in these high-risk areas?
I think so. This tragedy reminds us that nature's in charge, ultimately. Like,
Yeah.
no matter how amazing our homes are.
Humble much.
Right. So maybe it's about finding a new way to design, like combining beauty and resilience, luxury and sustainability, all in one.
What did that even look like practically?
I'm picturing homes that are not just stunning to look at, but they're designed to handle whatever their environment throws at them. Like they blend into the landscape, they use fire-resistant materials, they're built to be eco-friendly, the whole package.
That sounds pretty amazing. Like finding a way to rebuild, but doing it even better.
Right, it's like turning this tragedy into an opportunity to innovate.
And it's not just about mansions either, right? It's about all of us thinking smarter and building smarter.
Mhm.
Oh, by the way, did you know Austin Russell, the owner of this mansion, also has a place in Winter Park, Florida? Bought it back in 2017.
Wow, really? That adds a whole other dimension to this, doesn't it?
Right? Like a reminder that material things, even a $125 million mansion, they can be replaced.
It puts things in perspective, doesn't
It's
it?
time. So yeah, even the people who seem to have it all, they can still experience loss,
Mm.
And maybe this story is about resilience, about adapting, about finding a way to keep going, even when things are tough.
I love that. It's like, this isn't just about a house, it's about life, about how we deal with the unexpected.
Totally. And at the end of the day, this story is about so much more than just this one mansion. It's about what we value, how we treat our environment, and being prepared for whatever comes our way.
Yeah, definitely makes you think. But I want to end on a like hopeful note. You know, we talked about all the lessons learned, the practical stuff, but what happens now? Like, do you think this whole tragedy could actually lead to some cool new innovations, especially for building in areas where wildfires are a risk?
I hope so.
Oh,
And I think it's already happening. There's this movement toward building it in a way that's more resilient, more sustainable, especially in places where, nature can be a little unpredictable.
like California with those wildfires.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. More and more you're seeing architects and builders using fire-resistant materials. They're thinking about that defensible space, even using technology to predict and prevent wildfire risks.
That's awesome. And wouldn't it be amazing if, like, when they rebuild this mansion, they incorporate all those new ideas? Oh, absolutely. Imagine that, like a home that's not just as stunning as the original, but it's also built to withstand anything and be like this symbol of hope,
Yeah.
like beauty rising from the ashes.
Love that. And it's a message that goes way beyond just fancy houses, right? It's about all of us thinking differently about how we build, how we live in harmony with nature, all that.
100%. And who knows, maybe this story will inspire people to do things differently.
Fingers crossed. Well, to everyone listening, whether you're obsessed with design or luxury homes or just intrigued by this whole story, I hope you got something out of this deep dive.
Yeah, I think it's one of those stories that really sticks with you.
Totally. It makes you think about what really matters, how we treat the planet, and just being ready for whatever life throws your way.
And if there's one thing I hope people take away from this, it's that even when things are tough, even when you face a setback, there's always hope. There's always a path forward. And there's always a chance to create something even better, something beautiful, something that can last.
Perfectly said. And for anyone who wants to learn more about how to protect themselves from wildfires, we'll put some resources in the show notes for you. So yeah, until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay inspired.